Where's my sheet? Yep. Hold up. Good morning. I'd like to call the meeting of the Hancock County Commissioners to order. Today is March 16th, 26. Time is 8:03 a.m. This meeting is being recorded and streamed for public viewing. By participating in it, you acknowledge that your image, voice, and comments may be captured and made publicly available. This meeting has been properly noticed in accordance with Indiana Code 5-14-1.5. Let the record show that there's a quorum of commissioners present. The commissioners are now open for business. We will now proceed with the agenda. At this time, I'd like to invite everybody to stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for March 3rd, 2026 Commissioners Meeting.
Second. There's a motion and a second for approving the minutes for 3/3/26. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Lisa? Oh, okay. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Gary. We are here this morning for the 70 Connect 2 project, which is a logistics building with related public infrastructure. The estimated investment is approximately $39 million. The county provided a forgivable loan for $932,000 worth of public infrastructure. The building has been completed. The infrastructure has been completed. We have with us this morning Adam Broderick of Loth and Scott Frizzell of Krieg DeVault, counsel to Loth for this project. They are requesting an Estoppel certificate be executed by the Board of Commissioners and the County Redevelopment Commission as proposed in the loan agreement that was entered into between the parties. That Estoppel certificate is required when they are looking to move forward with the sale of the building. And I will let Adam Broderick give you an idea of the status of the overall project, what they're looking to do going forward. And then Scott Frizzell can discuss with you the specific request. And I'll be here to answer questions. So Adam, go ahead.
Adam, you're on mute.
That was a good start. Thank you, Lisa. As Lisa said, 70 Connect 2 is just over a 500,000 square foot logistics building. We completed in 2022. We leased the building to Houston Logistics, a large international logistics company who has a lease in the building through 2027, I believe. And recently, we took the building out to the market for an investment sale. We've selected a buyer. It's a group Hillwood out of Texas. Hillwood's owned in Mount Comfort, other product in the past. And we are looking to close the sale with them this Wednesday. As Lisa said, as part of that, we've requested the Estoppel certificate as we transfer and hopefully ultimately terminate this loan agreement. The infrastructure has been put in place, and I think all of the obligations have been met, and so it's our request that there no longer be the documents that are in place. So Scott can give you the legal reasons behind that, but thank you for your attention to the matter and your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Good morning, everyone. So there's two items before you this morning. It's the Estoppel certificate and then the termination of the loan agreement and economic development agreement. The Estoppel certificate simply confirms the current status of the agreements between the county and 70 Connect 2. In plain terms, it confirms that the loan agreement and economic development agreement are still in effect, that no party is in default, and that the developer has satisfied its obligations under those agreements. In addition, since the developer has fulfilled its obligations to develop this project and will no longer own the property, We are requesting the loan agreement and economic development agreement be terminated simply to close out those agreements. And as Lisa mentioned, as background for this project, the Redevelopment Commission provided 70 Connect 2 with a $932,000 incentive funded from TIF on hand. And so for tax purposes, that incentive was structured through this forgivable loan agreement, which is why those agreements were drafted as such back in 2020. So at this point, the project has been completed and 70 Connect 2 has satisfied the requirements of those agreements. So the Estoppel certificate confirms the status, and the termination formally closes out those agreements in connection with the sale of the property. So at this time, we're happy to answer any questions, and we appreciate your consideration of these items.
One thing I would like to quickly point out, and hopefully Scott Binky is present at the Board of Commissioners meeting.
He is.
There was no abatement provided in these agreements. There were no EDA payments, so nothing is delinquent there. I know Scott Binky looked into the property taxes. There were no delinquent taxes, so there was really no reason to not move forward with this request. The Redevelopment Commission considered it on March 12th and positively approved moving forward with execution in the form, and assuming that and only if the Board of Commissioners also approve execution of both documents.
I do have a few questions, notwithstanding those presentations. So the EDA does require written consent by the county of any transfer. So, and of course, it's not to be unreasonably withheld. So I do have a look, I think for the benefit of the commissioners. So who is Industrial Enterprises LLC? As I understand it, they are buying the property. Is that right?
Yes, that's the LLC name that Hillwood would be their DBA, or however you want to look at it. Hillwood is the group that's buying it. The LLC they'll use to hold the real estate is the group you just mentioned.
And Scott, one thing I would say is if the Board of Commissioners vote to terminate the EDA and the loan agreement, that consent would go away with that termination. But the county does absolutely need to be comfortable with the purchase going on.
Exactly. It's moot obviously if it's terminated, but the commissioners we don't really have any information on, what the new owner's going to do with that property, if anything additional. Obviously, there's a tenant there, as you've just explained. And so I proffer that question because, as I said, the agreement does require written consent, and it still is in effect until terminated. So that was one thing that came to my mind. We want to have some cold comfort with who's buying the property.
Yeah. So, sorry.
Yeah. So can you give us a little more background on what their intentions might be beyond what's already occurred there?
Yes, absolutely. So Hillwood, as I mentioned earlier, is based out of Dallas. They are a large real estate investment trust. They were originally backed by the Ross Perot family. I just pulled up their website so I could hit these correctly, but they've developed about 243 million square feet of industrial. They've acquired about 63 million square feet. Their goal here is simply to renew Houston Logistics, the existing tenant, in place for another 5, 7, 10-year term, depending on what Houston's willing to sign up for, and continue to cash flow the property. Outside of that, Loth and Hillwood are in conversations relative to Mount Comfort. Loth controls over 100 acres on the north side of County Road 350 to the west of what we call 70 Connect 3. And we're in conversations with Hillwood on a potential JV to develop additional logistics space with Hillwood there. So they're committed to the market. They're a long-term holder here, and their goal specific to the 70 Connect 2 property is to renew Houston Logistics. If for some reason Houston wasn't to renew, they would hire a broker and look to lease it to a third-party logistics or manufacturing company, similar to what tenancy you have there today.
Okay, that's helpful information. And I can confirm that, you are not, no one is in default from 77 Connect, as Lisa mentioned, not just real estate taxes, but we wanted to confirm that the project was actually fully complete, which our highway engineer, Gary Poole, has been able to do. And so, as we understand it now, there's no other further obligations of 77 Connect under these respective agreements. So since you've now provided a little more information about who's buying the property, that was my primary issue with finalizing the execution of the Estoppel certificate and the termination of the loan agreement, the EDA. And I understood that the funds were distributed, they were utilized, and the work was done. So I think with that, I'm okay as long as the commissioners are okay with what's now been presented with the new owner from a legal standpoint.
Okay.
All righty.
Any further questions?
I have no questions.
We can put both these together in one motion, can't we?
Should we or
I'd
should?
separate them.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Make a motion that we accept the Estoppel certificate made effective. Oh, it's got the wrong date in here. It says February, but the effective date will be March 16th. Is that correct?
Yep.
2026? Okay. And the Hancock County Redevelopment Commission has already provided their signatures moving forward.
Second. Motion is second on the floor. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
I make a motion that we accept the termination of economic development agreement and loan agreement between 70 Connect and Hancock County Commissioners, also known as an EDA agreement.
Second. There's a motion and second on the floor to approve the termination of economic development agreement and loan agreement between 70 Connect and Hancock County Commissioners. Any further questions? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Scott, quick question.
Yes.
Would DocuSign be appropriate? Would that be okay? Or do you need wet signatures?
DocuSign is fine from my standpoint. Adam, is that good?
Yes.
I think
Yep,
we're okay with
DocuSign would be great.
Okay, we will work with Deborah and others at the county to get those agreements signed by both parties. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Gary Poole.
Yeah, like magic. I have nothing for signature today. The old jail is set to be turned over, I think, this week. We're working on a couple HVAC things. We're going to, I'm just keeping this on the front of your minds. Are we going to extend HCSS in 2027? Because when we get into spring, we're going to have to really start working on that contract if we are.
I just talked to the mayor 2 weeks ago. They're going to actually do everything that they can.
Okay, great. A lot of people are using that. A lot of our elderly and less fiscally secure population. HMA price is under pressure, which is not a surprise with current world events. So obviously the price of asphalt is going to go up. If things settle down, it'll be all right. If not, we'll reprogram and figure out what we're going to do. It'll be fine. Nothing to panic about, but we might have to reprogram a little bit to make sure everything fits in the program. I finished the B10 and F10 for HCSS, speaking of that. So those are underway. I'll get those reviewed by the feds here soon and get that finished up. I have Mr. Hartley here to talk about the ADA website. Quickly, we're going to have to update that. Ryan, do you want to speak to that for a second?
Good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
In 2024, the DOJ updated its regulations for the Americans with Disabilities Act about certain requirements on what their state and local governments have compliance things they need to meet for WCAG or website content accessibility guidelines. And the date for that is coming up. They base that on size. So based on the size of Hancock County, our date would be April 24th is when we need to meet compliance. So I've been working with John Milburn and Carolyn Adams on this, just kind of going over what our website, how it acts, what it looks like. PDFs that are on there need to meet the compliance that the DOJ has updated. So we've been inundated with companies wanting to sell us their resources to do that. John Milburn and I have had multiple meetings with the companies to go over this information, and I think we were landed on one that works for Hancock County. It's called Recite Me. These things can get very expensive, but John is kind of I'm leaning on him for the tech knowledge. He understands that stuff really well. But basically, I wanted to give you this. You have some information there I gave you. It's a 3-year contract. It's $5,089.50 for the 3-year contract. And then we pay a per page cost to remediate those PDFs. And that's $2 a page. These contracts that I've gotten quotes on have went all the way up to $15,000 a year and up to $8 to $10 a page. So they can get very expensive. So this is the best option that we found that fits what we need to meet these guidelines. After I can pay for this out of my ADA budget, after I do this, then I plan on probably doing like 1,000 pages at a cost of $2,000 next year and the following year. John feels good about where we're at with this company. I've checked with Bernie and IT to make sure that what we're doing is going to be copacetic with them and that we can work through all this stuff. So this is basically just to let you know that I'm going to proceed with this. I gave the contract to John to look at, to Ann Schuyler to look at. I've looked at it and I emailed it to Scott Binke earlier last week to review the contract. As far as I know, everybody's okay with the contract that was presented, so I plan on proceeding with that. We can divert some of these costs by archiving some of the content and removing some of the content. So John and Carolyn, and I'm sure Dusty's going to be involved in this, IT, we can go through some of the PDFs that are on the website and remove those so we don't have to pay a remediation cost on things that we just don't need on there. So basically just informational purposes, just kind of to let you guys know. And if you had any questions for me, I'll be glad to answer them.
Nope, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've had a wet start to the spring. Drainage actually did pretty well. More states struggled a little bit. We're working on that. We had a bunch of leaves and garbage down one of the things. So in the news, I'd make sure we tell people don't put stuff down the drains in your house or in the roads. Okay, use the garbage. But that happens. We have got the funding for the 900 North, 600 West roundabout okay. The interlocal needs to be done at their next meeting though. So let Beth know that they want the $6.1 million. That's got to be signed at their April meeting.
You and I discussed that. My plan is to get that to you this week.
Excellent. So otherwise, they'll revert it back to the state, and it'll be a 100% local project for McCourse. They'll do what they want. But I think they'd probably rather have the $6.1 million because that's a $7 million. That's just under $8 million job. So, but that's a hot deadline. That's got to happen in April.
Well, I will thank you for McCordsville because without you, it wouldn't have happened. So.
Yeah, that was a lift. That was an exciting political exercise there. Indiana Trails Program grant, we haven't got word back on that yet, have we, Miriam?
No, but I can tell you that they've had some rotation in the higher ups, and so we should probably in the next couple of months.
And that's understandable. There's been a lot of rotation at the state government. A lot of those programs, Okra, all of them have been, the leadership's been dynamic. Bridges on 3 South, 4 West are closed for this winter. They should be opening in late spring, early summer. They're moving as scheduled. Hopefully we can get them done a little bit quicker. The contractor's doing a good job out there. Earmark grants went well, so use commissioners and the council and all the politicians, you guys did well. Looks like our region received more earmark than anyone else, so always good to bring as much federal and state money back to the county as possible, so thank you for working on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
So hopefully that'll all work out. I know you're going to meet with I know we just talked to Lisa just a second ago, but she's going to come present to you guys on payment in lieu of tax programs. Those are interesting. I know the commissioners and council are looking for ways to help different municipal agencies, schools and stuff with the new Senate Bill 1. I know there's been a reduction to a lot of people's funding, and we're exploring options on how to maybe offset some of that. So it's always good to know every tool in the toolbox. You don't have to use the tool, but you should know what they are.
Yeah.
Bids for distributor, single axle and everything are out. So if any contractors are listening to me right now, feel free to get on our website and pull those up. And hopefully we see bids from you soon. Road schools this week, we're doing this county is doing a presentation on alternate delivery of various types of projects. The county's been successful with that. We're sharing that with our peers. Now that we're done, so they can't take our money, we'll let them know what we did. Barring any questions, that's all I have.
I don't have anything else.
I think I'm good.
I'll see you at road school.
I will see you there. Oh, and if anybody from the public is interested in how projects are elected and funded, there'll be that presentation will be put on the Purdue website, and I'll try to make sure we have that on there. People might find that interesting. A lot of people, there's a lot of interest in that, and a lot of times people don't know exactly what's going on, and it's complicated. Heck, I halfway understand it half the time, but it does a good job of at least informing them what's going on. That can mitigate a lot of fear, because when you don't know something, it's scary and I don't want people to be worried about stuff. Well, they should care, but they shouldn't be afraid of anything. It's just county government. We're not that exciting. So that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Cory Taylor, utility facility update.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Cory?
In front of you, you'll have a proposal from Wesco, who is handling our rekeying project. We have a quote here to go ahead and do the community corrections area that's been remodeled. The prosecutor's office, this section has been remodeled, as well as the IT offices in the basement. This is for 70 cores. At 4309 apiece, 68 pinning at 809 apiece, and 144 keys for 671. Total being $4,237.46.
Okay.
I need to see if this could be paid for out of a GO bond. I'm not sure which one we're utilizing for that work.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Cory. I make a motion that we approve the master rekeying for community corrections, the prosecutor's office, as well as IT, in an amount not to exceed $4,237.46 payable from the 2025 GO bond.
I second. There's a motion and a second on to let facilities use the 2025 GO bond for $4,237.46 for rekeying doors at the prosecutor's office, the community corrections, and IT offices. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
The other thing I've got is, Scott, you're aware of the payment needed through Service Master.
Yes, so I think I copied you on my call, their manager. Phone was disconnected,
Yes.
which is not a good sign.
Yes, sir.
Do we, yeah. And I'm assuming they didn't pay it yet.
No.
I don't believe so. I get a lot of phone calls.
Fritz called me.
I forwarded the invoice the second time and told them they had, I think, 7 days before we initiate legal proceedings. It seems like we might be at that point.
I would think we're at the 7 days.
Yeah, because it was very odd. Do you know if are they out of business now or?
I don't believe so. They're all over the radio. I mean, they're
I just
a
know
pretty
that
big company, yeah.
Fritz has sold his company to somebody else, and it just needs to be taken care of.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, it'll take some time now because we'll have to live. But it seems like, what I thought was odd was this guy was supposedly the general manager, and so that my antenna's is up because it seems like that's usually a sign of being insolvent.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
if you will follow up with that to
Oh, yeah.
kind of get somewhere on that, I'm sure Fritz would love to get that
We're
done.
gonna have to litigate it, so I probably should talk to him because that'll take some time, unfortunately.
Well, please call him and get him on board also.
So there's nothing, Scott, that you need from me as far as we wouldn't go ahead and pay that invoice and then reimburse or look for reimbursement through Indiana?
That's what we're gonna have to do.
Okay. Will you just advise me on what I need to do then, as far as getting them?
I have the documentation substantiating the silica dust issue,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
it wasn't supposedly gonna be any.
How much was that final bill? Cory?
Around 63,000
Very expensive to remediate.
was.
Kidding.
Just, if you would, keep me posted on, and if I need to present to you guys to try to get that paid before, so we can get them paid and closed
I'll
out,
look
let me
into it
know.
and see what we can do.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The other thing I would add about that, it might be an insurance claim. Oh, Janine.
Yeah.
Yep. So we should alert our, because that might be something that they would pay.
Yeah, that would be general liability, I'm guessing.
But I would think that we would have to litigate it before they would ever pay it.
Well, they should pay it and then they would subrogate. They'd get a subrogation.
Okay.
But we would collect in the. But it may also be that they would with us.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just thought of that. I think there's definitely a claim there. The more I think of it, irrespective of the contractors.
Yeah.
Insurance.
Now, if we turn this in as a claim and then we're reimbursed eventually by Indiana Foundation, is that the?
Correct, yes.
Yep.
We could just put that back in our insurance fund? Could
Well,
we
yeah,
pay that back?
they would subrogate, they would get reimbursed for what they paid. If our insurance pays it, then, and it would go back into, if we're self-insured on that. What would happen?
Okay.
Good enough.
Get hold of Brian. So, thanks, Cory. David Gray.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
For the opportunity to come before you. I have a quick annual update. We have a lot going on at the library. You should have a hard copy, and I've also got my contact information included there as well. That first page, we like to go over expenditures, what we spend, and then what the state averages are. For salaries and benefits, we're trying to be as lean as we possibly can. State average is 61%. We're just under 53%. We tried to put as much money into the collection as we possibly can. The state average is 14. We're just under 18. We're usually around 19. We had some issues with some large book vendors going out of business, so we had some issues getting some titles this year. Supplies usually hover around 2%, which is the average. Other services and charges is a big area that can include anything from snow removal to landscaping to our internet service and utilities. We're at about 17%. The state average is 19%. We're a little over on capital. We're at a little over 11%. 4% is the average. As you know, well, maybe not, but we came to the council to do an additional appropriation for boilers and a new chiller last year for a 20-year-old building. Mm-hmm. And then this year we'll be doing some major work on our parking lot in Greenfield.
Okay.
The next slide is just some 2025 stats. I'm happy to say we have over 2,100 cardholders. We had almost 460,000 visits to one of our locations this year. Kind of a fun fact, if everybody returned all the material that we had we would have just over 252,000 items, which we wouldn't have room for. So we're happy that we usually have between 35 and 40,000 physical items out at any given time. We had over 19,000 people attend one of 874 events that we offered at one of our locations. And a little bit of a breakdown between physical and electronic. Obviously, we've seen the electronic side of things grow, e-books, e-audiobooks. We still have a very healthy physical circulation. So just over 634,000 items we circulated physical, just under 300,000 items digital. So that's about a 68% physical, 32% electronic. We're seeing electronic grow about 2 to 3% each year. Not included in that over 21,000 card holders is the opportunity that we had to work with all 4 school systems to give digital cards to the kids. So we've issued over 25,000 digital cards, and those kids have checked out over 89,000 items. A little more of a breakdown for our electronic resources, which is our fastest growing area. We circulated just over 17,000 movies, TV shows last year. Kind of surprising maybe, we circulated more e-audiobooks than we did e-books, about 152,000 audiobooks and almost 120,000 e-books. One thing that we also offer is tutor.com, which that can go all the way through adult learning as well. Also K through 12, those are live tutoring sessions available online. So we had over 660 tutoring sessions last year, and the digital cards will work for those, so the students can all take advantage of those. Beyond books, we offer experience passes. We have free and reduced admissions to parks, cultural sites across the state. We also have a library of things. We offer board games, learning tools, puzzles, Blu-ray players, iPads, projectors, hotspots, and many more things. For our events and spaces, we had over 6,300 people use one of our study rooms. Kind of maybe surprising to you, we had over 53,000 computer sessions last year, so not everyone has access to a computer or the internet. And again, over 19,000 people attended one of our 874 programs. We can personalize service for you as well. You can book a librarian if you're having an issue with technology, genealogy, any of our services. So we try to match you up with whoever might be best for that particular area and schedule one-on-one time for that. We can also help you find your next great read, so our librarians will help you with that. Parents can also let us know the age range, reading level, and interest of their children, and we can have a stack of books ready for them to go when they come to the library. Another service that we offer is interlibrary loan. Sometimes certain titles can be difficult, out of print, maybe something that we wouldn't necessarily buy because it wouldn't circ again. We can contact an academic library or another public library in the state or across the country, and we can get that title for you. Try to bring our service wherever you are. Hopefully you've seen our bookmobile around the county. We made 466 stops last year. Saw almost 18,000 people. We visit Wilkinson, Shirley, local healthcare community, schools, many more. We also try to do the different community nights, parades, things like that. Hopefully you've seen the bookmobile there as well. We also offer delivery service, so we delivered to 153 homebound patrons last year, and we also created almost 200 special collections for teachers as well. One of our bigger projects last year was we had remote lockers installed at Eastern Hancock schools, and they were absolutely wonderful to work with. Kind of difficult to put a physical location on the eastern side of the county if where you would put it. The school is a lot of the hub. We get a lot of traffic there, so we were able to install these lockers. They're the same lockers at Amazon, the same lockers you see at Home Depot. They're just branded, and the software is set up for our library system. So you can actually request any physical item that we have, and we can have it there for you in 2 to 3 days, and you can also return it right back to the same place.
Oh, good.
Summer reading's our busiest time of the year. We try to help the schools with the summer slide, so we had almost 4,200 participants read almost 8.5 million minutes. We had 8,900 people attend one of our 237 programs that we offered over the summer. Another great partnership we have is the Imagination Library with the Community Foundation. The Community Foundation is a great partner. They're the funding piece, we're the administrative piece. We handle all the signups, address changes, any other changes. There's a breakdown of where those kids are from. We have usually between 2,600 and 2,800 kids in the program at any given time. We're hovering right around 2,700 enrolled. graduated is what they refer to as it goes from birth to 5. Those are kids that went from birth to 5, so we've had over 3,300 kids go through the program. There is a headline up at the top there that's from the Daily Reporter. The foundation works with Ball State and the data that we have on those kids, and their kindergarten readiness scores did show higher than those that were not participating in the program, which we kind of knew, but it's always nice to see the data back that up as well. Couple big projects. I noticed you just mentioned it. We did upgrade our website as well. We want to make sure that we're compliant with accessibility, which we are, and we also want to better feature our library services and spaces. We've also refreshed our mobile app. I always like to include a list of our board members. We have 7 board members, 7 appointing bodies, all 4 school systems, you, the county council, and also the Greenfield City Council. Your appointment to our board is Zach Schreier. He's a vice president with Elements Financial, which used to be Lilly Credit Union. He travels a lot for work, so he was not able to be here today, but he has been a tremendous asset to the board. I also like to include my contact information. That's my cell phone as well. If you ever have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to give me a call. I'm always happy to talk about the library.
I wouldn't. I got your number.
Good.
Actually, my mother-in-law uses your library quite often.
Good.
They come out here from Cumberland all the time.
Good.
And I was just in there the other day with a presentation the other day with our
Perfect.
Brownsfield grant, so.
There's always, the parking lot's always full.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
David.
Ashtan Bennett.
Thank you, Ash.
All right, thank you. Oh, okay.
All right. My name is Ashtan Bennett. I am the library director for the Vernon Township Public Library, serving the towns of Fortville and McCordsville. So you also have in front of you a packet of our annual review. The first page there, you can see a map of our cardholders. So those red blots are kind of the dense areas, of course, mainly focusing around Fortville and McCordsville. But I like to use that as an example to actually see where our cardholders are living. We have currently seen an increase of about 13.31% from last year. We average about 10 to 20% increases each year since COVID when we started tracking these numbers. You can see that we use our census population from 2020. Of course, that's sitting right around 15,615 residents. We do anticipate, both towns have anticipated that our current population is reaching 20,000 plus by the time that we see that in 2030. Any dots that you see outside of Vernon Township are reciprocal borrowers. So, of course, we have that agreement with Hancock County Public Library and Dave, and then we also have an agreement with Pendleton. So we are in a unique situation. We're in that northern part of the county. One of our lines is close to Madison County. The northern end is Madison and Hamilton, Indianapolis. They're on Carroll Road, and then the southern part touches the rest of the county for Hancock County Public Library cards. We also do have several non-resident cards, so since we do have lots of patrons who can literally walk to the library from their house, but they're in Hamilton County, we offer a non-resident cost of $35 for them to buy a card and be able to use it with us. You can see we did a special edition custom library cards in 2024. We did a logo card. I'm going to talk a little bit about Evergreen because that is different than what Hancock County Public Library uses. But we also have staff student cards as well that are provided to any student, staff, or educator at Mount Vernon Community Schools. And we work with Geis Montessori, so they don't have an in-house library. We've provided those services recently in the last year, picking up that piece. So the next page is Evergreen. So being a smaller library, we do pay into the statewide consortium of Evergreen. There are over 135 public libraries that participate in that program, and it's basically a resource sharing program. So we can send and share about 16,000 items a year. Totes are picked up. Basically, when you look at our catalog, you can select it to see what's exactly at Vernon Township. We do have about 45,000 items in our collection, but Evergreen allows us to purchase materials that are specific for our patrons. And then if there's any outstanding items or something really unique, we can transit that from another library. So we share those resources. There are some things also that our budget doesn't currently allow us to provide. So board games, video games, books on CD, or slowly publishers aren't doing as much anymore, so we can get those from other libraries. Patrons pick them up and check them out just like they're art material. You can see our resources for educators page. So as Dave mentioned, we also do custom collections for teachers. So they can submit a form if there's a certain topic that their students are doing in class. We can bring those items, drop them off. We also go and schedule visits to teach educators how to actually use their library card too, so they can use it in their classrooms. Our 2025 statistics. So as you guys know, we have about a 7,900 square foot building. On the smaller side, of course, space is one of our biggest issues, but we did see almost 40,000 visitors last year. So we are continuing to see an increase of people coming in, not only to check out books, but also to use our space in the best ways that they can. Same with reference, we had a huge increase. We do track how many questions our team gets at the desk, whether that's a phone call about helping them look up something, any sort of resource connections in the community is all tracked in addition to books and checking out materials. So we are pushing almost 25,000 questions. And events and programs. So our list, we hosted 369 programs last year. Not all of those, of course, were in the library. We use a lot of the spaces in our community, including the parks, McCordsville Town Hall, the Vernon Township Trustee's Office. To host those, we saw over 5,703 program attendees. And as Dave mentioned too, summer reading is always our busiest time. So we had 601 completions last year. Completions mean that they visited the library 6 of the 8 weeks of summer reading. And then we also partner for 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. Our program includes community partnerships. So at 500 books, they get a Libby's ice cream gift card, so they can use that within the community and then ultimately reach their goal and get to choose a book. We've partnered with Logan Homes for them to provide that free book to start their at-home library collection. There's a bunch of photos there too. You can see how we utilize, we can see our story time setup. In last year's summer reading program, we did do a color run at McCordsville Town Hall Park that we were really, really excited about. Your next page is kind of my mind in map form. So you can see the orange dots are everything that we're currently doing. And there's a section that shows you exactly where we do go. So currently we visit 14 daycares and preschools in Vernon Township, and we see over 27 classes of toddlers, preschoolers, babies, and that our staff members present those story times to. So we're going on site. We also have after-school programs at all Mount Vernon schools, including the high school, and we've started that at Geist Montessori as well. We do provide delivery outreach to senior living facilities, and we're partnering with several HOAs to have Library Day and to get the new residents signed up in the community. And then our future focuses, I'm going to highlight here our McCordsville location, but that is our biggest feature coming this year. We're also working on a revised strategic plan and creating unique collections, so that'll also be part of our McCordsville layout. Of course, we're always focused on literacy development, exploration, lifelong learning initiatives. We've seen a lot of people in our community seeing the need to switch jobs lately. Last year, we focused on partnering with Ivy Tech and bringing in some secondary resources to help them talk about a transition and how that would even work as some of our community has lost their positions. We're also focused on community partnership initiatives and our story walk at McCord Square. So we were granted the Community Foundation grant last year to install that story walk in partnership with McCordsville Parks. So we're really excited about that. Okay, on to our McCordsville location. So we have partnered with 9 Star Connect. You see a photo of their brand new building in McCord Square. We have leased a 3,000 square foot space on the 2nd floor. It follows along the back end of 600 and then faces the south, which will actually overlook our story walk that connects us and the new police department. Both locations will complement each other. So I mentioned that we have 7,900 square foot building in Fortville, and we will have the 3,000 square foot space in McCordsville. The idea is that we will be able to provide all of those resources that we're currently missing due to space constraints in McCord Square location. So our main collection will stay in Fortville. All of our new items, bestseller collections, study rooms, meeting room, and a children's area will all be part of the McCourtsville build-out. And that's currently happening now. And then we also are able to make use of 9 Stars presentation space. So they have grand stairs, they have conference room that'll also help aid in the location.
Very nice.
It is very nice. Very nice. We are very excited. And on that next page, you can see we have frames going up currently. We're really excited about the pace that it's moving along with. We are hopeful to reach a time period where we can actually start moving in mid-May. And then ideally, we'd be opening at some point early summer. My contact information is also listed on the back. I do have our board members listed. Catherine Witzman is with me, which is one of your guys' appointments. She has served as our treasurer for 3 consecutive years, I believe. She's also a wonderful asset. Becky Hyday is our secretary, who is also your guys' appointments. And then you can see our other 3 appointments from Mount Vernon Schools and then 2 appointments from the county council. Do you have any questions I can answer or that Catherine can answer?
Well, the expansion into the McCourtsville branch, is that going to eliminate some of your space problems, you think?
Not really. We're just getting new space problems, unfortunately. But it will allow us to expand in the ways that we've previously been super constrained to. So we, as you've probably heard me talk about, we have severe issues with fire code because our building occupancy is only about 47. That includes staff. So we'll be able to take story times over to McCord Square where it's much higher. We'll still provide both in the locations, but we can help break up the amount of attendees that we have sometimes. But we anticipate that those issues are still going to remain, especially because these are the things we've always wanted to have. This is what the community is asking for. And so we don't really see the change in Fortville lowering, but just adding a second problem maybe now in McCordsville as we continue to look to the future and hopefully be able to provide more space ultimately down the road as things change with Senate Bill 1.
Thank you, Ashtan.
Thank you very much.
You.
We'd like to welcome Eastern Hancock students to our meeting today. They're here to learn about the executive branch of county government, and we'll have questions from them maybe afterwards. So welcome.
Welcome.
No sleeping out there.
Sheriff?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I'm here to talk about surplusing some tables. I talked with Cory, and Cory had some interest in removing or getting rid of the old picnic style tables in the jail, the old jail, the big heavy metal steel ones, removing those. And so I had a conversation with him about that. And I went to the fairgrounds to see if they may have interest in those, to get rid of some of the old wooden torn up ones, and that way they would be more stable and they can move them around. So the request is and I've talked with fairgrounds, they were great. They would want, if we could get them, as just to surplus those. I think there's going to be I think there's 18 in there. I can't remember if there's 3 in 2 blocks, but I know most of them are there's 2 in most of them, but 18 total. The only thing is being able to get them out. We don't know about that yet. I think the building was built around them.
Might have been.
Very well possible. So we've looked at.
They don't come apart.
They do not. We don't think so. That's some investigation we're going to have to try to do to see if it can even work. They may have to be cut out in some fashion. So we'll see how that goes, but the request here currently is just to see if we can surplus those, get them out if we can, and then go from there. If not, then we'll revisit it, I suppose.
I've got absolutely no problem.
You want to make a motion?
Yes. I move that we allow Sheriff to surplus the up to 18 tables in the old jail and with the donation to the Hancock County Ag Association and the Hancock County Fair Board.
I second that. There's a motion and a second on the floor to allow Sheriff Burkhart to surplus 18 tables from the old community corrections, the old jail, should I say. And is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
One real quick thing, if I could. I didn't get it on the agenda, but a couple meetings ago, I wasn't here. I had a federal equitable share document that was signed. I made an error.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't happen very often.
It happens once in a lifetime for you, Sheriff.
One time this year.
Yes, we got some money right at the end of December. I didn't realize it, and it needed to be included on this particular report, so I just need a signature to
Okay.
redo it if I could.
Down here? Anywhere?
Yeah, just kind of
Right here.
There you go. Submitted electronically, so it's just.
Sure. There you go.
All right, so I'll need.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Kill 'em all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, thanks.
Hi, I'm Kim Hall. I'm the Director of Mental Health Partners. Every year since 1998, we've had our annual fundraiser as the Pennsy Trail Art Fair and Music Festival. We have this along American Legion Plaza, South Street, on the plaza, and I'm asking permission to use the courthouse lawn and the annex parking lot for the festival this year. We're going to have to move some things around and possibly use the parking lot over here to set up some vendors due to Smashburger needs some space for their clients and so forth. We've had the festival since 1998, and it's our main fundraiser for our nonprofit organization.
That's a Saturday, isn't it?
It's a Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
I make a motion that we allow Mental Health Partners of Hancock County use our courthouse lawn as well as our annex parking on Saturday, July 25th, 2026, from prior to 10 a.m. to tear down after 5 p.m.
Yeah, we set up at 6 a.m. and usually are out of here by 7 p.m.
I'll second that. There's a motion and a second on the floor to allow Mental Health Partners for Hancock County to hold their Pennsy Trail and Art Fair and Music Festival on July 25th and use our parking spaces at the annex and use the courthouse lawn. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim, hope you have a good one. Me too.
I don't see Kayla. Okay,
Garmong.
do you, Sheriff, is Mary here?
On vacation.
Yeah, she is on vacation, isn't she? I remember that.
Supposed to be here, but I haven't heard from her.
Then we'll see about my Lana Beregszazi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you guys have packets that I sent you? Lana Beregszazi, I'm the owner of BCS Management. I'm here to talk about one of everybody's favorite subjects, which is failing septic systems and sanitary sewer. It should be your favorite topic. It's very important for environmental safety and for neighborhoods. And as many of you know, there's a lot of failing septics throughout Hancock County. And I've been having this discussion with a couple of different commissioners and with Gary Poole, your county engineer, with 9-Star. We managed the 9-Star 200 West project, and that went fairly well. And we've been looking for a solution for the many, many projects that you have that need to happen throughout the county that that don't make a continual financial drain on the county, which I'm sure you're very interested in. So after having different discussions and speaking with New Pal, I know Ryan Hartley's here in the crowd because he has a county role, but is also on New Pal Town Council, I put together a list of projects that I think are the top 3 priorities. So the first 3 projects that I see, even though I think there's probably 10 or 20 at least that we could list in the county, are New Palestine septic elimination. So there's approximately 500 homes outside of the corporate limits of New Pal, but very close to New Pal, that are existing residential neighborhoods that are all on septic systems and do not have sanitary sewer and do not have a solution for sanitary sewer. Additionally, there's a couple of lots there that I know there's interest in developing, but there's a limitation to doing that because you can no longer permit small residential neighborhood lot sizes for a septic, and you probably shouldn't either because they don't effectively work on smaller lot sizes. They're intended to work on large parcels and country type settings. So I know that New Pal is very, very interested in finding a solution to and a path forward for that project, but also noting that these homes are outside of New Pal city limits. These are county residents, and so I have put our planning fee, my company, we're not engineers. We do manage and administrate regional sewer districts, small and medium-sized utilities, and then the big thing that we do is actually find the execution path. So determining how different projects can be financed, who's going to operate them, what the legal agreements need to be put in place. We're also not attorneys. We use your attorneys to come up with the terms that will work to make these projects happen. You have a proposal in front of you, a statement of work for us that's similar to one that we presented to New Pal. I think New Pal would need to pay for the engineering if we do this. Engineering is not included. But a big part of this particular statement of work is community outreach. So we would be doing the public meetings. The public needs to be engaged. When you're talking about septic elimination with homes of this quantity, obviously we can't just start designing sewer systems, hire an engineer, design sewer systems, and just start running lines. There has to be community engagement. There has to be prioritization on which communities to do when. And residents need to understand what the process is of connecting, the benefits of connecting. And a big part of our scope would also be to determine, once you have the sanitary sewer in the ground, whose customers are those going to be? Are they going to become the town of New Pal's customers? Are they going to be New Pal Regional Sewer District customers? Do we involve the Hancock County Regional Sewer District, which does exist in some way legally, to move that project forward? So I picked that one because if you work in septic elimination projects, one of the biggest challenges is usually density, quantity, and distance from an existing treatment provider. This particular area has none of those concerns. It just needs a path forward, and I don't think that there's any challenges other than coming up with the financing to pay for the resources needed to move that forward. So that's the first of 3 projects that I've identified on this list. Do you guys have any questions? Feel free to just ask questions. I gave you a big
Now, the way I look at this study here would be, what, 80 grand? Is that what it is?
That is the Charlottesville.
Oh, wrong one then. That's Charlotte.
I gave you a whole stack.
Yep.
So the New Pal is all in 150,000 and you receive a final report. That's a phased approach. And again, it does not include engineering. It includes everything but engineering. So you'd have to hire an engineer, or New Palestine would have to hire an engineer separately to design the projects that we determine would be of priority, and then we might determine who actually is hiring that engineer from a business perspective.
Now, what type of community outreach would you have for the individuals that live in these targeted areas?
So typically we do a series of mailings that are followed by a series of community informational meetings. So we would go use a church or an elementary school as a facility that's nearby so they don't have to travel far. And then we would present the ideas, the whys, the benefits of sanitary sewer, kind of what the preliminary plan is. And then we typically offer a petition where people can sign and say, I'm interested in getting further information, or I'm not interested, or I'm interested, but my concern is the cost. And we gather that information, and that is a big part of the prioritization process, long ahead of engineering, because people need to be involved in the process. So it's typically in-person informational meetings.
So how well does that work?
How well does it work?
How well is it received?
Well, it depends on the area, and it depends on the feasibility of it, and it depends on the people. So It's typically a mixed bag, and there's typically, like most these types of projects do, we typically have a vocal minority that are not in favor because there isn't a cost associated with it. I know that 9 Star has gotten creative, 9 Star Connect, in their sewer projects and offering all kinds of incentives for connection, or even paying for the connections in full, or offering some sort of reimbursement for people who do. And the other project we're talking about, we're also finding ways to actually include the lateral connections in the project cost. The biggest concern that folks have is there is a cost to connect and there's a sewer bill if you connect to sewer, and people don't have that bill right now. But it is scientifically proven that sanitary sewer is environmentally responsible and better for communities. When you have that many homes close together on septics, there absolutely is E. coli and environmental issues going on in the community. It's just the cost that it's of concern.
Okay.
And then you help families. I mean, when I look at Charlottesville, I know that there are several people that probably wouldn't want to hook up, primarily because of the cost.
That's correct. So another one of the, I put these separately. This is all kind of a comprehensive program, but I put the 3 projects in 3 separate task orders just because they are approached differently, and they'll probably be on different timelines, and they'll probably be funded in different ways. Charlottesville was put on here. Well, Commissioner Gray, it's a priority to you, but I also know that 9 Star has done some looking at it, and I know you guys have paid for some infrastructure studies that weren't promising. The total cost of those projects would be cost prohibitive if just done in the traditional way of let's engineer it, let's bond for it, let's finance it. Those bills would be unaffordable for those folks. So the strategy there is to use that foundational engineering information that's been made available. It's not a waste. It just proved that going traditional with this is not going to be cost effective for that community, and finding a creative way to do this, whether it's tying on to a nearby economic development project that may actually not even be in Hancock County, but heading towards Knightstown. They're actually closer to Knightstown than they are to Greenfield. And just finding a creative way to do this, whether that's through a public-private partnership or some goodwill economic development dollars from one of those economic development projects. But it does require, which is what we do, a much more creative approach to making it happen, because just saying the engineering costs that and the construction costs that and here's your bond, people would have unaffordable bills, and that's not what we're in the business of doing.
And the last thing we want to do is shove it down their throats to make them spend money. I mean, I value the importance of this, and I'm always concerned about Charlottesville.
Yes.
But, we want to be fair with the residents there too.
Absolutely. And that Charlottesville situation there is not uncommon, an unincorporated village with a few homes. But to say that those homes are on septic systems would probably be giving them a little too much credit. A lot of those are not even probably considered septic systems. When I spoke with the health department about it, and I think you're aware, it's pretty bad, and it's not good for children and pets, and a solution needs to be found, and it's just going to require some creativity.
And those that don't have the septic, where's that waste going?
It's going right into the waste from a lot of those homes is directly discharging into the ditches and streams. There is severe levels of E. coli, dangerous levels of E. coli in the waterways around Charlottesville because of that.
Ditch that runs
Right behind.
in front of that old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that there was discussions probably a year and a half ago.
With George Langston, he brought it about a year and a half ago. He brought it up.
But we met with 9 Star about a year and a half ago.
Exactly. And 9 Star had some, I would say, rather ingenious and creative ways, along with Lana's company, that help finance, ease the burden on the residents, cost when installed. So maybe that, there's community meetings and those things can be explained, it might be better received.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, sir. So our statement of work is to dive in and spend the time and meet with the folks and meet with the economic development groups and collaborate with 9 Star to find a way that Charlottesville can be served economically, and it's going to take just a creative, strategic way of doing it. And you couldn't find a better partner than 9-Star at that, because they're great community partners. They're in business to provide affordable service to folks in the county. So working together, I think we can come up with something. But that task order is to take the lead on that effort. And then the third one is the Maxwell Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant and septic elimination program. Another area where there's known failing septics, and actually the school there, they've done well testing and they found E. coli in the wells from these nearby failing septics that are in the school well. It's not all the time, but it has happened. Sorry to bring that up in a public meeting, but it is public knowledge. And so sanitary sewer is needed there desperately, and 9-Star, as you guys know, you're working with 9-Star to do a PER. Wessler's doing that PER. It is done or almost done.
They're working towards. I got a call the other day, and they said that that's pretty well determined at this point in time.
Right. So what I discussed with 9-Star is that because the PER is with the Hancock County Regional Sewer District, and because the Hancock County Regional Sewer District does not actually own any infrastructure, operate, or have any staff, that we would be the liaison or the owner's rep between the business side, to basically orchestrate the business side of how the bond and the closing and the public relations will go through a Hancock County Regional Sewer District, and set up an operational, basically how 9-Star is going to operate it legally until it's transferred over to them for ownership purposes in the future. So there's just a lot to the business side of it. And a lot of that would be similar to what we did on the 200 West project, which was just coordinate a lot of the project meetings. We'd leave Wessler to do the SRF submission and manage all of that. But we would be doing the public relations, setting up the operational structure, making sure that there's a rate that makes sense after the bond numbers come back, and that 9-Star can be compensated in some way fairly for putting their staff on the management and operations of that project.
Okay.
So finally, I've got 3 task orders at you, and you're thinking, okay, this is all kinds of dollar signs. The approach here is to have the county establish a fund that can essentially be a revolving pot, a revolving fund that the county can be reimbursed at the time the project's bonds close, because our fees, like engineering fees, are eligible non-construction costs in SRF and definitely in if you do private financing, public-private financing. Our fees up until that point, and the remainder of them that haven't happened before construction starts, are a line item in the closing documents of the financing and can be reimbursed back to the county. And then you can put that back in the pot to start spearheading another project area. And this is a model that has worked in other counties. It's growing in popularity. It takes a while. It doesn't happen immediately. You have to get the project to a point where it's about to go under construction and your loans or your bonds are closing. And then as that closes, one of your first disbursement submittals can be the fees that have already been incurred by the county.
So you're already on the schedule for council, aren't you?
I think so, on the 8th.
Yeah. Okay, so I'd like to know what they think about it, because they do hold the purse strings. So,
Sure.
And our other commissioner is not here, so we'll wait till he gets back and then we'll make a decision on that. As soon as we hear from council and Bill Spalding.
Sounds good. Any other questions?
That'd be it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Kayla Brooks. Good morning.
Good morning. Just got one rezone to bring to you this morning. This is a rezone of in Center Township from R1 to commercial community. It is located at 113 West Junction Street. I believe my staff report is in your packet if you want to see an aerial image of where that parcel is. It is, if you go north on State Road 9 and then turn west on 500 North, also known as Junction Street, by Little Red, I think former barber shop. That's the street this building is on. It is 1.53 acres with a gas line running north-south along the west border. It formerly had a house that was in pretty bad shape, and so Austin Bowling, the owner, has torn that building down and is looking at establishing a lawn care business on that site at this time, although his plans are fluid. So the area behind this is the Maxwell grain elevator, and that is Zone CC. So based on that and the comprehensive plan, which shows a mix of commercial and residential coming together in this area, the zoning of CC seemed appropriate to extend to this property, which is between that grain elevator and Junction Street or 500 North, and also across the road from Maxwell Intermediate School. At the Plan Commission, there was a vote of 7 ayes, 1 nay, and 1 abstention in favor. So overall, a favorable recommendation to the Board of Commissioners.
And he has made a lot of improvements.
Yes.
Okay. You got an ordinance number on that?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2026-3C, which is a Hancock County zoning ordinance number 2007-1B, amending the zoning map reference from residential R1 to commercial community.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve ordinance number 2026-3C. It's amending Hancock County zoning ordinance number 2007-1B from residential to community, commercial community. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. Uh-huh.
The one I just handed you.
Oh, the one that you just handed us
Would that be
was
here?
the new version?
This-
Okay, this one here? Yeah. Okay, the one I gave Gary, okay.
Right here.
This
Okay,
one.
all right, this
Okay.
one we're signing. All right.
All right.
Morgan Walker. Good morning.
Morning, Morgan. Good.
Great, and you?
Good.
Good.
Okay, so you should have in front of you a paper with some different bullet points. One of the reasons that I'm here today is I'm asking for a request for, it says additional case manager, but really what I'm asking for is back in 2023 and then again in the 2024 budget hearings, we were, 2 positions were taken away during those times. That was prior to me being here. One of those positions, I asked for that back last year, and I was able to get that position back. But we're to the point now where I would like to ask for the other one back to get us back where we were before. So a couple things that I've listed out. Looking back at 2021, our average caseload in total was 96 clients per month, and that was with 11 staff members. Right now, we have 127 clients And then we have 9 staff members right now. Our 10th is starting on the 30th. So 10 is what we are at, 11 is what we were at before. That's what I'm asking for, is to get that 11th back. With our workload and what it looks like now, I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. So our case managers are doing a lot more than what we ever were before. So all of our case managers are doing full risk assessments on every client that enters community corrections. That was not done in the past. We are also doing case management on any high and moderate risk client. That's an expectation that our department has that was not being done before. So those things, they take more time. And then also we've added a lot of programming that we didn't have before. I've listed that programming at the bottom, but we have MRT, anger management, substance abuse MRT, and then our domestic violence program. I'm proud to say that we are certified through the Indiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence as a certified BIP location. We're the only BIP location that's certified in Hancock County now. So we used to, any person that was sentenced in court and ordered to complete a batter's intervention program, we were having to send to another county to complete that program. Now we have that in our department. So all of our programs are opened up to all of the other court programs, so probation, drug court, behavioral health court, and then I talked to Magistrate Coombs as well to open it up to some of the parents with DCS Chin's cases. So with that, it's great collaboration, but it also adds more for the case manager that's facilitating the program. So just as our program has grown, as we have more work, and as our caseload has grown, I'm just requesting that we be allowed to get that position back. It would be fully funded by our grant and project income, so the only cost associated would be the cost of the benefit package.
And you're just looking for a recommendation to council?
Yes.
Well, I would make a motion that we send Community Corrections additional case manager request, forward that on to County Council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you.
I'll second that. Got a motion and a second on the floor to recommend to a favorable recommendation to council to fund and more or less bring back a body or person that used to be there that is not there now. So the case load is intensified. So is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. 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 Nay, same side. Motion passes. You got to travel also?
Yeah, this is, I submitted one of these a while back for myself, and I have another staff member who was selected for the same training. So I'm just requesting that she be able to do that out-of-state travel. It's all being paid for out of our project income and grant funds. So it's broken down. We use the exact same numbers that we used for mine because it is the same training. So
I make a motion that we approve permission to travel out of state and the estimated travel expenses of $4,110 for Haley Matthews, pre-approved by Morgan Walker.
I'll second that. We have a motion on the floor to approve out-of-state travel to Haley Matthews. It's for TBRI practitioner training. And trust-based relationship intervention is what that stands for. With cost to be at $4,110. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you.
We had that in here, do we?
I've got it here. I've got one here.
Oh, here it is. I've got
Okay.
it right here. It's in here. Hold that thought.
Okay, thank you.
I just signed in the wrong spot, didn't I?
Did you? No, you didn't. By your name. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ray,
Good to
she also has a grant letter in your red folder if you want to
Oh.
have any questions.
It's our DOC grant that we do every year, and also probation's DOC grant. They're both requested on that form.
It's on one of the action items. I just thought while she was here, you know what?
Like everybody's traveling somewhere but us.
Well, we are too.
Yeah, but we're just going to West Lafayette. You're probably going somewhere warm, aren't you?
Texas.
I'm not going anywhere, but
They are.
The reinvestment grant?
yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. I make a motion that we approve the Community Corrections Jail Treatment Services and Justice Reinvestment Grant, and that we fully support the Community Corrections and the Hancock County Probation Department in their applications for grant funding from the state of Indiana for the 2027 year.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the Community Corrections to reapply for their Community Corrections Jail Treatment Services and Justice Reinvestment Grant. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Margaret. Okay. Save Hancock County, LLC.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Paul Overhauser. I'm here to ask you to direct the Plan Commission to study updates to the zoning ordinance to address creating standards for data centers and recommend changes to this committee within a year. Developing these standards for data centers would be good for citizens. They would be rules to ensure that any data centers that are built in the county will be safe and good for the county. Standards would be good for the developers. They would know the standards they would be expected to meet before they come in and make a proposal. It would be good for the commissioners. It would help avoid lawsuits against the county. Right now, there are 5 pending lawsuits in Indiana over approval or disapproval of data centers, some filed by citizens, some filed by developers. Those lawsuits are pending in the counties of Hendricks, Henry, Lake, Marion, and St. Joseph. If we have clear standards for data centers, suits can be avoided. Now, 6 other counties in Indiana have shown their leadership in addressing this data center issue, and they are updating their zoning ordinances. Those counties are Fulton, Hoyt, Miami, Lake, Marshall, and Putnam. Those same counties have also declared a pause on data centers until their work in evaluating changes to the zoning ordinance there is done. So I prepared in the form of a resolution that I'd ask you to pass today at this meeting, if possible. And I provided this handout to you, which I don't know if it's been distributed to you. It has 3 documents in it. The first one is the proposed resolution. And all it does is it would direct the Plan Commission to study this issue and make recommendations. So the resolution asks that the Zone Commission establish a subcommittee that holds public hearings and recommends amendments to the Hancock County zoning ordinance that addresses data centers. And then I have a number of specific things that should probably be considered by the Zoning Commission if they do that. And the second thing it directs the Zoning Commission to do is to promptly recommend to the commissioners here whether the commissioners should implement a temporary pause on data centers until the earlier of whenever the commission completes their study or 1 year after it begins. The type of things that the second document in the package is just an example of what was passed by Wyatt County. They declared a moratorium and directed their zoning committee to consider studies. And then the third document is just another representative one. This one happens to be from Miami County. It is their draft proposed amendment to their zoning ordinance. And the type of things that they might want to consider for the data centers are as follows. What road access, an agreement by the developer to repair any roads damaged during construction of the data center, routes for emergency response, perhaps a setback for the data center, and maybe a setback requiring it that it be located at a certain distance from schools or residences. Making sure that large equipment like generators are screened from public view. Making sure that any backup generators are permitted from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. Requiring that the data centers only used closed loop water or air only cooling systems, that utility lines be underground, that there be security fencing, that the data center provide fire protection training to the local fire departments that would be called upon for response if there was any fire incident at the data center. Making sure there's not interference with airport flight operations and the physical features of the proposed data centers. A description of whatever tax abatements or incentives they may be requesting. And a decommissioning plan. You know, what happens if somebody starts to build a data center and they get, 5% of the way done, and then this data center boom we seem to be in right now fizzles, kind of like the way warehouses did here in Hancock County. These data centers place a big financial burden on local communities. They affect our sales tax, income tax, real property tax, personal property tax. As you know, the state has passed legislation this most recent session providing abatements, so counties are not getting all the money from data centers that they would if they were just regular businesses. So these are the issues that data centers create, and all that I'm asking this commission to do is to ask the Zone Commission to study it further, including recommendation of whether a pause should be put on data centers pending their review. Be happy to entertain any questions if you have any. If not, I think there are some others that would like to talk.
Well, we will take a look at this, and we've actually been looking at it, but we'll continue to look at it and see where we can go with this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott, do you have a copy of this?
I don't think so.
I just gave them a copy.
Oh, you just got a copy?
You just got a copy. Okay.
I just had a few things to add to that, if I could, regarding zoning. So obviously, the decision whether or not to allow a data center into Hancock County should be in the hands of elected officials. So a quick example of how new zoning helped this was recently, back in November, you guys made a zoning amendment so that power generators couldn't be built on agricultural land with, or that they could, wait, let me screw this up. That at that time, they could be built on agricultural land with a special exception. And you guys said, no, you can't do that. And that made sense. The Plan Commission said that these facilities are much larger and more intrusive than when that zoning ordinance was drafted. And the commissioners at that time stated, there's a lot more at stake with these types of power projects, like the recent solar farm, and we should have the final say. So it's not out of the ordinary to make an amendment like this. All right, we have all that. And I'm saying that the same logic should apply to the data center facilities that require these power projects, because again, there's a lot more at stake with them. As it stands now, the potential power sources of a data center, whether it's wind or solar or power generators, those things require special exceptions in industrial zoning and thus undergo more scrutiny than a data center does, which in industrial is considered a permitted use. And as you all know, since data centers fit into industrial, they can go anywhere in the county without the commissioner's approval. If they don't need an abatement, They can proceed within that current zoning without any special exceptions. So if I understand that, that means an individual landowner could sell their property for data center development, and the county would have no say. And I'm all for landowners' rights, but that type seems pretty extreme. So we get to the zoning standards, and I would argue they do not fully encompass the needs of a data center. So Mount Comfort has been slated for industry since 2010, if not before, but the surge in AI and hyperscale data centers started about the early 2020s. So this wasn't even on the radar necessarily. And in Hancock County, data centers are classified as communication service exchange, and they're permitted in all industrial zoning and by special exception in some commercial zoning. A communication service exchange handles things like emails, text, video conferencing. It might track your data usage for billing purposes, make sure you don't lose reception, provides network security. A hyperscale data center, which could fit into that zoning, develops algorithms, chatbots. It trains and runs interference for artificial intelligence and has massive storage capacities. This is not the same thing. These are not your 1940s data centers. And like the Plan Commission noted about the power generators, they are much larger and more intrusive. They need distinct zoning considerations for their impact on resources and on the surrounding community. Adding or amending zoning considerations could put it back in the hands of elected officials, whether or not a data center comes to Hancock County. Lastly, pausing to review this appropriate zoning for data centers does not mean that we're hanging a not open for business sign on Hancock County. As Mr. Overhauser already noted, it really is beneficial to the developers and the commissioners so that there aren't any curveballs along the way. I wanted to point you to sources from the data center industry, like Data Center Knowledge or the commercial real estate site Lightbox, and they say that proper zoning benefits all parties involved and otherwise can be delayed by uncertainty or misclassification. I share that again simply because it's coming from the data centers themselves. It's not just people who want pauses, it's them too. And I was struck by this in an interview with Jonathan Lawler. Don Lamb, the director of the Indiana Department of Agriculture, said that when it comes to successful data center development, it should look like the developers and local officials are working together. And the local officials need to be able to set the rules and decide what is best for their local community. Thus, I argue that reconsidering our zoning parameters for data centers should begin immediately.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I just want to kind of round this out for you. And I just want to be clear, we're talking about the AI hyperscale data centers, the massive ones that we've seen going up. And I want to be clear about what we are asking for from the start. And we're not asking to ban data centers. We're not anti-business. What we're asking for is just some time to get this right. When we're looking across Indiana, we're seeing the warning signs already. In New Carlisle, Amazon had construction halted mid-project because of unauthorized wetland destruction. IDEM and the Army Corps of Engineers had to step in. In Fort Wayne, Google submitted a permit request to operate 179 diesel generators, and over 100 residents showed up furious. And many of them said that they would have never supported the project had they known the full picture. In Indianapolis, Neutrality was caught by IDEM operating generators without an air permit at all. And just this weekend, hundreds of people gathered at Eagle Creek to march and protest the LEAP water transfer agreement. So these are actually happening in our state now. In the common thread in every single one of these cases is that the community felt blindsided, and so did the local government. So we don't want to be the next headline. More importantly, we don't want a business coming in here believing they've done everything right, only to find themselves in a public hearing facing angry residents because we never gave them a clear set of expectations to begin with, because that's not fair to them and it's certainly not fair to the residents. So what we're asking for is just 1 year. It's 1 year to sit down with experts, work with our county professionals, and understand what we actually have to offer and what we need in return. Because data centers extract significant resources from a community. They consume enormous amounts of water and electricity, and we need to understand whether our infrastructure can sustain that, and if we can't, what is that going to cost residents? We also need to talk honestly about the finances. The state's already extended tax breaks to data centers for up to 50 years, and that includes sales tax exemptions on equipment that typically gets replaced every 3 to 5 years, so that's real reoccurring revenue that won't be coming to us. We need to understand how we keep our county funded when that revenue isn't here. And before we welcome a facility of that scale, we need to honestly ask, can our emergency services handle it? Can our roads absorb it? Can our drainage sustain it? Because once it's here, there are problems to solve. So thinking about the bigger economic picture, data centers are high resource, low employment facilities. They create very few permanent jobs once their construction is complete. And then we have to ask, if potential investor is looking at this community and sees infrastructure already strained by one large tenant, will they see opportunity here or will they go somewhere else? So we don't want to limit ourselves today by these not going forward with a pause. So today we're not asking you to vote on that pause. We're not asking you to approve a pause. We're just asking something much simpler, and that's for you to consider the process to start a one-year pause on new data center projects. That's it. So starting this process is not a rejection of data centers. It's just responsible planning. It ensures we have a clear, consistent playbook, one that businesses can rely on, one that residents can trust, and one that protects the county that we all share. So we're not asking for a ban. We're asking for a plan. And we're asking you to take that first step by directing the Planning Commission to begin this process so we have the time and information we need to get this right. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I do agree with these folks. We probably should have our Planning Commission form a committee and begin to look at this stuff a little closer.
Okay. Scott, if you will review that.
Well, I think there's some legal implications on rights of various companies to come in, already obviously in zoned industrial, those things, but I think the consensus is this board that these projects have to be really scrutinized carefully. A public statement certainly can be made in that way. Might consider a proclamation of sorts. But the legality of it is there are certain things that but certainly they have also, approval for various things too. So there is some local control already seen with people that have tried to come in.
Should we consider doing what we've done, if we can, what we've done with solar and air? I mean, because we made that where it has to come before the commissioners. So, and we did that.
I would certainly be in favor of that. I just feel like as the Board of Commissioners and the executive branch of our government, that honestly, I don't want to make decisions or have things happen within our county that we don't have the ability to voice ourselves.
I think your suggestion that you have a committee formed, good one, and have that committee study the issue, might proceed on what you've said as a matter of philosophy and how you want citizens.
Okay.
I think that's a very good idea.
Okay.
So we'll reach out to Kayla and also the president of the Planning Commission, and we'll address forming that committee probably in the March Planning Commission meeting, maybe.
Yeah, because we can't get on the agenda at this point, because it's what, tomorrow night? Is there a meeting tomorrow night?
Nope, week after.
Week after.
24th.
I will reach out to Mike and Kayla.
Are you going to do that, or you want me
I'll
to?
do it. I'll do it. So, if nothing else, I'll call it a day on the road. So, all right.
Thanks for all the information.
Yes. Claims and payroll?
I guess so. Make a motion to approve claims and payroll.
Second. Motion to approve claims and payroll in a second. Is that on the floor? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Auditor business.
Have none, sir?
Well,
it's our
awesome.
lucky day.
Okay. Prosecutor, is this?
We didn't
bid
get
on-
any bids, did we?
We received an email late. It was Saturday yesterday.
I mean, then,
Printed it off. It did not come in time, but it was the only one that we received, and we got it via email.
okay, can we hold this to the next meeting?
Yep. I think we should.
I think so. Because I saw that,
I haven't heard from the prosecutor's office. Have you heard from Shelley or?
so.
I don't know if they received anything over there and we just don't have it, but.
Well, it shouldn't have gone
No,
to
it
them,
shouldn't have.
so if it did, we'll go ahead and hold that over, Gary?
Yep, hold it over. We have a board appointment.
Let's see here. Do we have any dates? There it is. I make a motion that we reappoint Libby Wyatt to a 4-year term ending 12/31/2029 to the Hancock County Solid Waste Board.
Second. There's a motion on the floor and a second to reappoint Libby Wyatt to a 4-year term ending 12/31/2029 to the Hancock County Solid Waste Board. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Bestway Contract. And we just saw that. That was handled by Sarah.
Yes, it is, right here.
And there seems to be a little bit of a difference if we just tell them to take their bin with them when they quit recycling. No. That's not it.
Are we doing a lot of recycling?
They took it away.
They did.
Because there wasn't enough business.
So that would be a savings. Or should be.
Here.
Got it?
Got it. We were paying $2,410.76, and we took away, they were going to actually replace the recycle bin with just another bin. And I mean, if we're not recycling, we don't need a bin, do we?
Well, they were going to, I think it looks like they were going to replace that with an additional trash bin.
Yeah, but I mean,
If we're not recycling, I would assume that we could possibly need one.
but I think we'd want to wait and find out, wouldn't we?
Well,
Simply because of it, I mean, people wasn't putting trash in there.
are we sure?
Yeah, that's possible too.
I don't think we're sure, but anyway,
I mean, we can always bring this back.
yeah.
So I'd say spare the taxpayers money. Okay?
I make a motion that we renew our trash situation, removing recycling and not replacing with a trash container at this point until further discovery.
Second, there's a motion on the floor to remove the recycle bins at different locations because they quit recycling, and not to replace them with a regular trash bin. And we will see how that goes in the near future. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion, no, same sign. Okay.
Drug court out-of-state travel.
Okay.
Looks like first up, we have a permission to travel out of state for drug court. Those individuals would be Beth Engel, Gary O'Neill, Casey Coombs, and Katie Dalton in the amount of $3,440.
A second. Motion on the floor to approve out-of-state travel and expenses of $3,440 for Beth Engel, Gary O'Neill, Casey Combs, and Katie Dalton for drug court. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next up, we have permission and a motion for out-of-state travel for the 911 Center for Greg Duda, who also serves as our Public Information Officer, to attend a governmental social media conference in May with a total price tag of $2,689.
Second. There's a motion on the floor to approve out-of-state travel for Greg Duda. He is going to the conference, the government social media conference, and his cost will be $2,689. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. There you go. There should be one more, shouldn't there?
That's another. See that one in there.
Should be. We'll use this one.
Okay, let's use that. Original, let's just use that.
Yeah.
About that. We have permission to travel out of state and estimated travel expenses for Brent Eaton. It will be paid for out of the pretrial diversion. Al Hackathon for Public Sector and Data and AI Summit in the amount of, well, he didn't total it. Amounts for airline, $301.80. Cost of class, $199. Per diem rates for lodging is $1,005.29, and meals of $260.
Okay. There is a motion on the floor to approve out-of-state travel for our prosecutor, Brent Eaton. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. Etica.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
Just fine, you?
Doing great.
Okay. I think I'm missing something. No, I'm not. It's there. It's there. I had to think about it there.
Okay.
Did this include the other stuff that we were talking about, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is a bid to replace the windows and replace doors if needed, or rework doors.
Correct.
And they have given us a bid of $1,633,300. So this will be coming out of our 2026 grant.
Okay.
And it's not finalized yet, so, but
Okay.
we will have this on hand.
All right.
How long you going to guarantee this number for?
Say that again.
How long you going to guarantee the number for?
Well, we could probably be flexible. Depends on
Okay.
when the grant comes in. So are you expecting that soon?
It's not a grant, it's a
Well, I
geo
mean,
bond.
Oh, it's a geo bond. Okay. All right.
It'll be later in the year, but it's in process.
Yeah, we just put up, they created a resolution need, that's what it was. So it's in the works.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. And
Put this on the back.
is that? We don't have Mary here, so we can't, Mary Zurbuch, so.
You want to? Sheriff can talk.
Okay, come on up, Sheriff. Come on down. The kids won't know what that is.
No.
You're the next contestant.
Yeah, on The Price is Right.
Hello again.
Hello.
Good morning, again.
So a few weeks ago, prior to the Budget Committee meeting, we presented, myself and Marion presented the change order for the BOT on the GMP guaranteed price, maximum price change order. That went before the council last week in a public hearing, and the funding was appropriated for that. And
Yep.
so what we're looking at for today is just to go ahead and get an approval to get that new contract signed so we can move forward with the correctional facility support building.
That will be done by Mary and Garmong.
Well, Garmong's the BOT on it. I mean, they're the ones that's the contractor doing the
Okay.
BOT. And so,
All invoices will come through Mary
Mary.
Zurbuch.
yes,
So-
through Mary, through me to the auditor.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I make a motion that we approve the addendum to a public-private agreement and approval of final project budget for the Hancock County Support Services Building located on Malcolm Grass Way.
Okay. We have a motion, I second that, to approve the addendum to public-private agreement and approval of final project budget Hancock County Support Services Building on Malcolm Grass Way. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Appreciate it. Thank you much.
Thank you.
We'll get, hopefully break ground April 1st, depending on weather. So
Yeah.
around that time anyway. So thank you much.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Do we have any input from the public?
Good morning. My name is Kathy Cooper. I'm from New Palestine. And as a private citizen, I just want to voice my support for looking at the development of data centers in our county more closely. I commend you for putting together a committee to look at this. I agree wholeheartedly with what the three testifiers presented today. I wish the county had kind of taken a pause with some of the warehouse development years ago. And the data center development is a much bigger animal than the warehouses that we're dealing with. So I just want to voice my support as a private citizen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I agree with you if we would have taken a little sabbatical on the
It
warehouses.
always helps to look at things more closely and plan and just don't go rushing into things. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How about anybody over there? Oh, he's got a question? Well, come on up to the microphone. No?
No?
Come on. Nothing?
So what'd you think? Boring? It was boring, wasn't it?
Look at all those yeses there. I'll say it's boring. The one in the middle in the front was about to fall asleep. Thought if we're going to have to do one of these.
Supposed to be honest.
Now, see, if you were a Boy Scout, you would have just earned your Boy Scout badge. So.
Forward.
I'm Megan Long. I'm a social studies teacher at Eastern Hancock. I just wanted to explain why the kids were here. So every week before spring break, we do passion projects. So basically the teachers get to pick a topic that they want to teach. So mine is local government and elected officials, which is you guys. But the kids, I told them that it might be boring, so they were warned. But if you guys could just do me the favor, maybe of like telling them like what you are or what area you represent, because there's a lot of people up here. There was probably a lot of legal jargon they don't understand and that kind of stuff. So if you guys are willing to take a moment of your time, just even after the meeting, to just explain kind of what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would take a motion to adjourn the meeting, and we can do that.
A motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Second. Motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. We're going to do.
But on here.
I'm going to take back that.
Okay. We're still in session. Mark, you want to step up? We are awarding your company to do the master plan out at the county farm, and that way we can get that going and figure out where to go from here.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and I would just like to add, excuse me, that, although it was a little more expensive, you put so much more information into that and what we will gather, that it is probably well worth the extra money spent, so we will not be so far behind the 8 ball should this all transpire.
Yep.
So thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Now.
Motion to adjourn again.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're done. Thank you.